Okay, so no little picture-in-picture. Hadn't upgraded my hardware in well over 5 years, so I try to do it. It stutters and stops repeatedly, and it looks horrible. So, Avengers Endgame. Well, you know what? I think it's first catch up to speed real quick. Thanos got all the Infinity Stones very quickly and easily. Thor got a super hammer axe. When it came time for Thanos to have a hand with the Infinity Gauntlet covered in the Infinity Stones, and Thor had the moment to swing his giant hammer axe, he decided to not go for the head or sever the arm. He decided to bury it into his chest, which allowed Thanos time to go, oh. Yes, a much more impressive snap than that. At which point, half were gone. And I'd say half humans, I said half. He wiped out half of all living creatures. So now this is Endgame, and let's get this going.
Stay on. Hey, Miss Potts. If you find this recording, don't feel bad about this. Part of the journey is the end.
Tony in space.
Just for the record, being adrift in space with zero promise of rescue is more fun than it sounds. Food and water ran out 4 days ago. Oxygen will run out tomorrow morning. That can be it. When I drift off, I will dream about you. I miss you.
Solid. That is a good opener. Ah! Dust wipe.
Thanos did exactly what he said he was going to do. He wiped out 50% of all living creatures.
We lost. All of us. We lost friends. We lost family. We lost a part of ourselves.
Oh, we heard him sing Ronin. I like
This
that.
is the fight of our lives.
This is going to work, Steve.
I know it is. Because I don't know what I'm going to do if it doesn't.
Oh, rebuilding it from the broken ashes. Poignant. Solid.
Hi, is anyone home? This is Scott Lang. We met a few years ago at the airport in Germany. Got really big.
Is this an old message?
Ant-Man, I know you know that.
It's the front door.
That's me. Can you buzz me in?
Oh, wicked spoiler ending. Well, I guess thanks to that, there goes the cliffhanger for another Marvel film. But potentially, since that character had the MacGuffin jar and was stuck behind a MacGuffin, it would be unique to know how he gets un-MacGuffined to bring the MacGuffin, and if said MacGuffin that he's stuck in a MacGuffin with could be the thing that undoes the gauntlet, which you could also classify as a MacGuffin. So maybe Marvel's plan here is to take the MacGuffin from the guy who was stuck in a MacGuffin, who got MacGuffined, to see if he can use that to undo the previous MacGuffin. And I do say I absolutely love... It was one of my favorite things they did in Infinity Gauntlet in the comic. I think it was also after Infinity War too. Quite a few times when Thanos was done being successful and was given a reprieve, he would go back to having a simple farmer life. And he would put his, maybe like a scarecrow, like to be a scare Thanos. No? Because scarecrows scare off crows, I guess it'd be a scare everyone. Is he would make, he'd put his Thanos armor and make, I guess let's call it a scare person, with his old suit. Unique to see them do that. Now, would also be really cool if Because there's one person who they haven't fully introduced yet, but there's been hinted at. And if him shows up, not bad grammar, better classification. And if they give him the MacGuffin, the new MacGuffin, not the old MacGuffin, that might be enough to potentially fix what happened. Or they want to go really wickedly crazy. I don't think they did this though. It would have been should have been what they used for people who their contract was up. That would have been a great way to be like, oh, these people ran out of films, right? Did they re-up? No. We just snap and wipe them out. Perfect. And then when we rebuild the universe afterwards, we've got all these other guys we can use. We've got these 1-4 guys that we got to figure out how to develop them and make them good. Who's in the place of Iron Man? Who's in place of Black Panther? Shuri. There's a bunch of people in that country that can easily take the mantle of Black Panther. It'd be fine. What about Iron Man? You got people who can take Iron Man's spot. It's fine. What about Thor? Well, Thor's still alive, but you want to wipe out Thor? It's pretty simple. Whoever wields Mjolnir gets the power. Anybody can be Thor. There you go. You gotta watch X-Men? I mean, why not? Or, if they have enough films left under some people's contracts, and they can establish the X-Men well enough in the new Marvel Universe, do Onslaught. Because Onslaught wiped out pretty much all of the non-mutants. There you go. You can wipe out all of your main superheroes, if they're out of films, into the sacrifice and defeating Onslaught. And then, a year or so later, your heroes were born, cast brand new people. Franklin Richards pops open his effectively the universe ball that he made, and boom, problem solved. But, solid trailer. I want to see something there's going to be less comedic moments. This one should have next to zero comedic moments. Either you're lost in space, and if you're Tony Stark, he just watched a bunch of people become dust. There should not be any wisecracking from him, even when he lands. It should be like, "Oh, Steve, I'm glad you made it. Where are you at? I was in space when the dust happened. You smell horrible. Yeah, I ran out of food and oxygen, so I had to eat questionable things in order to survive." This should be the DC version of where it should be brooding, it should be emotional, and it seems they're going to go that way, which is good. And as long as they find a way to fix it in a way that's not super bizarre and not a really massive cop-out. Like if they do the guy who was the person who was lost in the MacGuffin, who found a MacGuffin, if that's used and they bring back the other MacGuffin that was from Guardians of the Galaxy 2 post-credit, and they take some of the post-credit scenes and MacGuffin those two MacGuffins together to defeat the primary MacGuffin, it's okay. As long as it's not, Captain Marvel shows up, goes like Super Saiyan 4, and then like Superman, is it 1? It's either 1, I think Superman 1. And then flies around the Earth backwards to reset time on the Earth, and then vaporizes Thanos, and then everything's fine. As long as they don't do that, I think they've got plenty of ways of doing this to have it make perfect sense. Perfect enough in the world of comics.